Hi guys, welcome to my channel where we talk about everything from tech to films and all the fun stuff in between. In today's video, let's review the recently released Star Wars video game Jedi Fallen Order. The game is available both on PlayStation and Xbox, but I have played the PlayStation version, so my review will be based on that. When I first heard about this game, I was super excited, not because I was a Star Wars fan, but because of this one person whose name was attached to the game, Amy Hennig. For those who are unfamiliar about her, she's the person who gave us the brilliant Uncharted games on PlayStation. The Uncharted games made by Naughty Dog Studio are one of my most favorite games, and that was the sole reason for me to upgrade to a PS3 and a PS4 at that respective time points. So Amy left Naughty Dog to work on the Star Wars game with EA, and it was codenamed Ragtag. So she actually did not work on Uncharted 4, Thief's End and the spin-off Lost Legacy games. But things didn't go as planned as it seems, and her project was cancelled. Instead, EA went ahead with their own take on a solo Star Wars game and called it Jedi The Fallen Order. So let's look at the good and the bad of the game, and in the end I'll tell you my opinion on whether this game is as brilliant as the Uncharted series. So please keep watching and please do subscribe to my channel to show your support. So in Jedi Fallen Order, you assume the role of a young Jedi Padawan named Cal Kestis, who is chased by the Empire for his Jedi roots, at the same time trying to learn the ways of the Force and restore the wiped out Jedi Order. For people looking for continuity, this game is set in between Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith and the Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. The core gameplay involves platforming along with lightsaber duels, whilst supporting characters assisting the main character Cal and providing directions. You also get a super cute companion in the form of BD-1, who is a small droid that sits on Cal's shoulder like a parrot on a one-eyed pirate captain. Right away, as soon as you start the game, the platforming where you have to run, jump, evade, climb feels so much like Uncharted. Certainly not as fluid as Uncharted though, which is a letdown really. But there are still moments of fun, and you do get that satisfaction when you run across the walls or slide down icy slopes or cliff dive into an ocean. Action is always via your lightsaber, so you do get a dual-bladed lightsaber, which I thought was super cool, but it is not as effective as the single blade option which you get in the game. The lightsaber is your only weapon, which means the lack of variety. You cannot pick up that cool rocket launcher or plasma blaster which a stormtrooper dropped and use it to blast your way through, but you always have to use your saber. This also means that you do not have to go through corpses to loot stuff which they have dropped. You still have the option to scan things to know what they are and find out their weaknesses, which is actually helpful in the gameplay. You still have chests tucked away in tricky corners, which BD-1 gets to raid, and you get decorative things like new paint jobs for your spaceship or new paint schemes for BD-1, various sleeves and grips for your lightsaber, and ponchos. Yes, you heard it right. You jump through tricky gaps, do lengthy wall runs to get to this hidden chest, which could give you a new poncho for Cal. Okay, new costumes for Lara Croft sounds right and hot, but a new poncho for Cal, somehow this is not my cup of tea. But if you like that sort of thing, then you have ample choice of ponchos to choose from. Also, people keep mentioning the lightsaber combat is same as the combat in the game Dark Souls. I haven't played this game, but the annoying thing about that lightsaber duel is that once you make a strike, until that strike is complete, you cannot move away or do something like evade or roll or duck. This makes it feel like there is a delay in mid-attacks. The game which I played before this was God of War, and that game also has an axe as the main weapon. The action in that felt so much more responsive and quick, and it was much more satisfying. In Jedi, this bit is frustrating as the strike has to be completed before you can move away. Don't get me wrong, using the lightsaber is still as cool as how you would imagine it would be. But this on purpose lag is a bit annoying, especially when you have games like God of War perfecting this kind of a action move. Next, let's talk about the supporting characters. This is a solo game, and unlike Uncharted or even Last of Us or even God of War, there is minimal support from other characters, including your parrot on the shoulder, BD1. The supporting cast is just there to open doors and drive you to your destination and occasionally providing off-screen support. Everything else you do on your own. Uncharted perfected this multi-character support, and it felt so satisfying to play those games. And I sorely miss that here. Even Clank in Ratchet and Clank had a better and more satisfying role to play than BD1. It looks like such a wasted opportunity here. Let's next talk about the storyline. To be honest, I like the story of this better than Return of the Jedi film, so that is good. You get to bond and like the main character Cal right away, as he is quite composed, responsible, and not arrogant at all like Anakin Skywalker from the films. He's more softer and calmer like Luke. The newest Star Wars movies are definitely not doing things right at the moment, but one thing which they are getting spot on is their droids. First it was BB-8, then it was K2SO, and now BD-1. Despite just talking in binary, BD-1 does have its own personality, and you instantly adore its presence in the game. The story progresses on a very calm pace with lots of exploring. The beginning train fight sequence of the game is excellent, on par with action set scenes in Uncharted or Tomb Raider games. Then the story goes into exploration mode, and you do miss more of those action sequences as they are far and few in between. Let's talk about the negative things about this game. First thing which you notice a lot is that you have to backtrack quite a lot in the game. You visit the same locations over and over, and then when you're done visiting, you backtrack the same way most of the times to find your way back to the ship. There's also quite a lot of additional options and paths, sometimes leading you to a hidden crate containing a poncho, and more often this distracts you from the main plot. Next is the really annoying copy and paste method which the developers adapted. If you have cleared an area which has stormtroopers or the planet's native wildlife, go around the corner to complete an objective and return back as you need to backtrack again, you get the same enemies in the exact same location once again. I think the programmers here took a shortcut and they just used Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V instead of rewriting those bits, which would have made it much more exciting and natural. And then I already mentioned the lightsaber delay and the lack of variety. Think on the whole, this is what this game is massively lacking, is variety. You play the same kind of situations over and over, and this is frustrating. I now wonder what Amy Hennig's vision would have been for this game. If she would have made her at least half as brilliant as Uncharted, this would have been a different review altogether. Now let's talk about bugs. There are loads of them. I mean, at one point, I force pushed a stormtrooper off a cliff and he got semi-buried under some rock for some reason. You could still see his hands and legs wiggle and hear his voice, but that's it. He was just stuck there. There are loads of other bugs throughout the game. Not totally distracting, and the game is still playable, but this feels like a beta developer's copy instead of a fully finished consumer product. I read a review on Amazon where a user complained about a bug which he couldn't overcome and he just gave up on the game. And I was dreading if I would ever encounter that whilst playing. As a similar thing happened to me in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, as at one point, Laura had to do a swing and a jump and I nearly spent 2 hours trying to do that maneuver. Some buggy code at that point just didn't allow me to go through, even though I completed trickier jumps than that one before. Thankfully, I did not encounter that bug which the Amazon reviewer mentioned, and I was able to complete this game. So in summary, the plus points are the storyline, Cal and BD1's characters, cool lightsaber weapon, and a couple of decent storytelling points woven into the gameplay, especially Cal's backstory and a strong Force surprise at the ending. I'm not going to spoil this one for you guys, so don't worry. Negatives are the lack of variety, quite a lot of backtracking, lazy respawning of the enemies, very minimal multi-character support, and annoying bugs. Would I recommend this game? See, until this point, I have played brilliant games like Uncharted, Last of Us, Tomb Raider, God of War, and something like this with so many annoying issues is really not acceptable in 2020. If you are a huge Star Wars fan, then this game is for you, as you can relive all the nostalgia associated to it, and the storyline is better than the recent Star Wars movies. For the rest of you, if you have nothing to play and if you are a fan of games with third person's perspective like myself, then you can give this game a go. This game already sold over 8 million copies, so a sequel is going to be inevitable, and I probably will miss that one as I'm not too fond of the Fallen Order. I rate this game 6 out of 10 stars. Would have been a 7-star without the annoying bugs and the copy and paste of enemies. So that's it for the review, guys. This is my first video game review on my channel, and I will do more in future. Next one probably is going to be Marvel's Avengers or The Last of Us 2. So please do subscribe to my channel to show your support for a new YouTuber like me. And as always, thanks a lot for staying until the end. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.